A Republican loss in the state of Wisconsin last week that has the state's Republican governor sounding the alarm. Governor Scott Walker warning of potentially a blue wave, tweeting, "Big government, special interests flooded Wisconsin with distorted facts and misinformation. Next, they will target me and work to undo our bold reforms. We need to keep moving, hashtag Wisconsin forward, and make sure a hashtag blue wave of outside special interest money doesn't take us backward." That tweet on the heels of a liberal judge, Rebecca Dallett's win in Wisconsin's Supreme Court election. It's the first time a liberal candidate won a race for an open seat on the court since 1995. So what's going on out in Wisconsin? Let's talk to the governor. Scott Walker joins us right now from Madison. Governor, good morning to you.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Okay, so you're just warning of a blue wave. You're not saying, yeah, it's a done deal, Republicans are dead. You're saying, hey, if we're not careful, there's going to be a problem.
Right. This is a true wake-up call, and there's a difference between a wake-up call and a panic call. Panic's when you got nothing, when you got no record, no agenda, nothing to run on. In this case, we do. We've got the warning is if we don't do this, if we don't wake up to what we saw last Tuesday in Wisconsin and really across the nation, there could be a blue wave out there. I said if you listen in our state like you do elsewhere across the country, but particularly for the Democrats running for governor in this state, their rhetoric is increasingly not just liberal, but filled with hatred and anger towards me, towards the president, towards Republicans in general. I've been saying, again, all weekend and for months now, the best way to counter that is through optimism and organization. We've been recruiting people this weekend yet again to go to scottwalker.com and join our cause out there because we got a great story to tell.
Right.
We just can't assume that our friends and neighbors know about it.
Well, here's the thing. What is the Democrats' message other than some of them, if elected back to the House, will make sure that Donald Trump is impeached? David Axelrod himself came out with a tweet in the last day or so and said that's a bad strategy. But the Republicans actually have something good to run on, and that's this great big tax cut.
That's right. Yeah, you look at the House and the congressional level, it's all about impeachment. I don't think people want to go through that. They need to get out and tell the story. The president, the Congress, big win for people here in Wisconsin. A typical family, mom and dad work, 2 kids at home, would save $2,508. Right. That certainly isn't crumbs. And even better here in this state, people don't want to see all of our reforms passed, pushed back in the time. When I came and ran for governor 8 years ago, the unemployment rate in the state was 9.3% at the beginning of 2010. It's now below 3%, 2.9%, the lowest it's ever been in the history of this state. And that's one of just many reforms out there. Right. But the problem is, if Democrats get into place, they're so liberal, they're so aggressive, they would repeal those things. We'd see a reestablishment of all the problems we saw before Act 10. And that's exactly the sort of thing that I think people need to wake up to.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi last week made it pretty clear that if she is Speaker of the House again, they would do what they could to undo the tax cuts. Meanwhile, we've been talking, Governor, about how the president last week ordered up 4,000 National Guardsmen to our southern border. You're ready to take part if called upon, right?
Absolutely. I was just talking to my Adjutant General, Major General Don Dunbar, last week about that. Soon after our meeting, we heard the announcement from President Trump. I completely support him on this. And, you know, the irony is you hear the left and you think this has never happened before. 8 years ago, President Obama did this. President George W. Bush did it. President George Herbert Walker Bush did it. And just over a century ago, in 1916, Wisconsin's National Guard was on the border just about 6 months before they were called up to be a part of the 32nd with the state of Michigan, which was the Great Red Arrow Brigade. That is part of our history. That's what we do. We protect our shores and our borders, and I applaud the president for stepping up to take on illegal drugs and the human trafficking and the illegal firearms and all the problems we see on our southern border.
Sure. So we just put up your tweet with that image. That's great lesson in history. But I understand you've taken some heat from some in your state on the political left, and they say you got to be out of your mind if you're going to send somebody down there.
Well, and one of our congressmen from a very liberal part of the state claimed it was the president was politicizing and asked me not to be a part of politicizing the National Guard. The irony is that's exactly what he's doing. If you look at the past history, not just back more than a century ago when this proud tradition of Wisconsin's National Guard was on the border right before they went off to World War I to be one of the great leaders. The Red Arrows, actually, because they pierced through enemy lines, one of the first to do that. But since then, Obama, Bush, and Bush, each of them, because of drugs and other problems on our southern borders, called up the National Guard. There's a proud tradition in this country of doing that, because when you see a threat, I mean, what greater a threat than one on our actual border or on the shores of our nation than to protect our people? And now more than ever, with the threats from terrorism, and I've been there with Greg Abbott several years ago. He invited me and other governors to come down. I took him up on that. We've seen those people crossing the border, many of which are coming from countries around the world that want to do us harm through terrorist organizations they harbor. We've seen it through drugs. We've seen it through horrible stories of human trafficking. That needs to stop, and I think the National Guard, actually, I take it a step further.
Right.
I've suggested the president should actually put permanent training facilities along the border. What a great way to save money.
Sure.
Train people in the military at the same time you help guard the border.
Well, let's see what happens. Governor Scott Walker from the great state of Wisconsin. Sir, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you.